Hi there, Jan Copeland, coach with the Living Girl Success Boutique and curator of the Girl's Guide to Outrageous Real Estate Success. And it's another day in September, so here we are sharing with you an inspirational story from an awesome woman. And we're going to have each, as you know, each woman will share their particular story in their own words and from their heart, because my goal is that each of these 30 ladies' stories will really resonate with you and give you encouragement if you're in a downtime at this time, or even if you're not now, these you will recall when you need it. So today I'm with Gayle Zientek, and Gayle is a new friend. She's also a coach. Are you not, Gayle? Okay. So all these coaches kind of banding together is really cool. And I think of it as like when Justin Bieber sings with whoever, I don't know who's popular anymore, but like, when two amazing artists, meaning, musical artists, join together in song, and it's just so amazing, and you're not in competition, you're just like best buds. So anyway, Gayle, to get in touch with Gayle, you just send her a Facebook message and I will have her link to this video when I post it. So Gayle, whatever you want to share, you have the floor, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Jan. It's a privilege to have the opportunity, and I can remember back to the days when I stayed at home. So a little quick background, 25 years as a stay-at-home childcare provider. I was really pretty sheltered before I got my real estate license in 2004. But when you asked me to share a time in my life that was a pivot point, I have to go way back. So it was the summer between my junior and senior year in high school. I was 17 years old. I met this cute boy. His name was Steve, and we had a relationship. And guess what? 4 months into our relationship, I was pregnant. I was a senior in high school. I was 17 years old, and this was 1978. So it was my friends saying, "Oh, I know how you can take care of that." And in my heart, I was like, I always, since I was 9 years old, wanted to be a mom. And so I asked Steve, what are we going to do? And he says, well, we're going to get married. So I turned 18 on April 4th, 1978. I got married on April 15th, 1978. I graduated from high school in June of that year. In October, I had our first son, Gabriel. That was 41 years ago, almost 41 years ago. And when I think back in that time, there was decisions, right? Big decisions. And I thought, wow, when you asked me to share, I was like, I don't know if this just came to me yesterday. And I told you I never shared this story. I wrote a Facebook story about it, but here's how it progressed. So I'm 19 years old. I get pregnant. When Gabe was 5 months old, I went to the doctor. My OB/GYN said, you are susceptible to German measles, so I'm going to give you this shot. He says, don't get pregnant for 9 months. I mean, you cannot get pregnant. 4 months after I had the shot, I was pregnant with my daughter. And I remember going back to the doctor, kind of happy I was pregnant again. And he said to me, Gayle, I told you, don't get pregnant. He says, you really need to consider terminating this pregnancy because this baby could have multiple birth defects. And so here I am again, people telling me, terminate your pregnancy. And I'm like, but all I ever wanted to do was to be a mom. And so, the overall surrounding force, I wrote down 5 words: faith, hope, love, trust, and commitment. And as a 19-year-old girl with a 15-month-old baby, pregnant now again, faced with the decisions that I had, I spent much of that pregnancy on my knees at the altar, crying. I cried and cried and cried. Lord, please make this baby okay. I'm so sorry, but it's out of my control. And so in March 20th, 1980, 2 weeks before I turned 20 years old, I had my baby girl. Perfect. Andrea Marie Zientek. but what did I do? I counted her fingers. I counted her toes. She was breathing. She was crying. She was nursing, and she was perfect. And then about 10 months later, you know, they always say you can't get pregnant when you're nursing. I was nursing my baby. I had a 20-month-old, and I had a 10-month-old, and I found myself pregnant for the third time in 3 years. And people again were saying, you have the perfect family. You have a son, you have a daughter. Why do you need to have another? And I'm like, why do people always tell me that I don't need to be having these babies? And so of course, I wasn't going to listen to them. I didn't even tell my mom I was pregnant until I was 5 months along. And I can remember saying, oh, Dolly girl, you're having little stair steps. And so in 3 years, 21 years old, I gave birth to my 9-pound, 14-ounce son, Jordan. And this was my family. And, you know, Steve and I we've been through it. It's not always been easy, Jan. It's actually been quite difficult. You know, I found myself actually after I had my son Gabe, I had a friend in Lamaze class said, hey, do you want to, are you staying home? Would you like to watch my daughter? So I actually started childcare when my son was just, you know, a few months old. And that was my career, 25 years in home childcare. Because what's a 21-year-old girl with 3 babies going to go out and find to do that's going to support the family? And all I really wanted to do was be with my baby. So that was, I want to share this story, and I just feel like maybe there's a young woman that's going to hear this, and she might find herself in the same situation. Or maybe there's a mom. I've had my niece came to me. I remember her first granddaughter is now, I think, 9 years old. But I remember when she came to me and her son was 17 or 18 and found himself in the situation of this girl is going to have a baby. And she was distraught. And I said, Tina, I've been there. Look, I was 17, I was 18, I was 20. I had these babies, and look at them now. They're grown adults. They're married. They're having children of their own. So over the course of the last 41 years, I look at the decisions that I made back then as this young woman, scared, nervous. You know, how am I going to do this? Well, one, I had a supportive husband. Steve has been a support to me at every turn. He's encouraged me to go into real estate. He encourages me to build my send out cards business. He encourages us to build our family and we look forward to these years. You know, it was tough, but since 2000, we've been empty nesters. So, you know, there's the positive end of the spectrum. You make it through the storm or the cloudy days, and you reach that. And when you have faith, when you have hope, when you have love, trust of the partner that you have and the commitment that you've made, there's magic in that. And there's so many blessings. You know, Steve and I are looking forward to, over the next couple of years, getting a motorhome. And like, I'm in Michigan, so you see my little Michigan pillow I got from my friend Ann. It gets cold and snowy here in Michigan for like 5 months. So, you know, we would just as soon go find something else to do during, you know, December, January, and February. And so we're looking forward to this time in our lives. I'm 59 years old. I have 3 beautiful grown children. I have 9 grandchildren, ages 17. Our first grandchild went off to college this week. It's like, oh my God, how is that possible? My husband said, how is it possible we have a granddaughter in college? And, you know, down to 6. And that baby little girl that's in first grade learning Spanish. And I look at the community and the family that we have built, and it's been worth it. So I wrote down the words inspire possibilities. I believe that my core purpose in life is to inspire possibilities, whether it be from, you know, being a young woman getting married to staying married for 41 years, to having a successful career in real estate, to becoming a successful coach. And I'm still learning. At 59, what do I know about coaching? Well, I know what I've lived. And if I can help someone else through some of their life struggles or journeys, then maybe I can make a difference. So I'm here, Jan, to inspire the possibilities that if you focus in the right place, if you surround yourself with the right people, that it's going to carry you forward towards the goals that you set for yourself.
I think that's phenomenal. I mean, it's so amazing. There's so many things that you said, but one of the last things that you said was, it's so worth it. And, you know, maybe when you and Steve were young lovers in high school, you know, you weren't thinking about having a baby, but God had other plans, right? And so now, I mean, I can't imagine, because, you know, you're only 4 or 5 years older than me, that you were empty nesters for 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like, you know, I still have, my youngest is in college. And then you have a grandchild that went off to college. That's so funny. But my whole thing about that is, you know, you mentioned faith. And in the Bible, it says that the older will mentor the younger. And I know that I've, you know, facilitated Bible studies for young mothers. And because I was blessed when I was a young mother by the older women that would, you know, I remember one of those stories was, I hated doing laundry. Like, I love the dishes. Like I don't even care if I have to, you know, hand wash some. Like, I don't mind the dishes, but laundry for some reason was just something I hated, right? And so, you know, it was a bad day, whatever, and I was just telling her that, and she goes, okay, well, as you're folding the laundry, thank God for that person, whether it's your husband, one of your 2 sons, or your daughter. And it so changed my perspective. And now as a coach, you know, I say, you know what? You get to do real estate. You get to help that buyer. You get to help that seller. And it's just a shift, a pivot. And I like how you say that you are all about inspiring possibilities, because it doesn't matter how old you are. You know, my dad passed away when he was 80. When he was 78, and I was doing really, really well in, he's been gone 9 years now, but when I was doing really well in real estate, it was so cute. He's like, Jan, so tell me, what do you do? How do you get your clients? And there he was at 78 wanting to know how I got my clients. Like, he wanted to learn. And so I just am so inspired by your story. I saw your, and maybe I'll post it in when I post this, your, you gave a speech. Were you one of the main speakers at the Send Out Cards convention?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. So maybe if you can get that over to me, I want to include that, because there's more of your story. And I'm just excited to get to know you better. And I thank you so, so much for sharing your heart. And is there one more thing, one more nugget that you just want to share as we conclude?
Stay committed to the process. It's a process. You know, if you're surrounding yourself with the people that lift you up and give you hope and encouragement, trust the process. Because, you know, I learned from my friend Hank gave me this necklace, and it's a turtle. It represents patience with a sense of urgency. You know, we all want to get there an hour ago.
Yeah.
But we have to walk the path. We have to take the journey, because there's things that we learn along the journey that are going to be helpful for us as we grow. It's going to be helpful for others that, like you mentioned, that we get to mentor and nurture and help along the way. So have patience with a sense of urgency.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Gayle, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
All right. You're so welcome. Thanks, Jan.
Bye.